It is August 18th, and we are looking at some braided garlic that I pulled up in July. Now, this isn't done. You need to keep checking it. Any moisture that got in can rot, and that's the eat first. So this dry rack I created last summer, and boy, I'm glad I did. For hanging things that are going to seed, that is French sorrel, and these are my carrots. They look great. They are the sun doesn't hit them. This side of my rack, I pulled up some onions that we're going to seed, and then I hung these posts, which are just great for hanging. I got a shoe bag right there, and that's great for catching some of the celery seed, which I'm really big on now. Fresh celery seed is a great spice, great for circulation, has a great taste. I've been canning ketchup and salsa, and I realized corn's done, so I have a ton of corn that I need to process, and I want to show you the garden because this is a process that just never ends. I'm in our kitchen constantly. So what I'm going to do is hop on my bike. Oh, gotta stop here. Raspberry leaf. The last of your raspberry leaf, if it's still producing, now is a great time to be picking off these leaves. They are beautiful if you ferment them. I saw a DIY do-it-yourself on fermenting raspberry leaf, and putting up tea for the winter, how satisfying. So these leaves are perfect, and that's on the list. Fermentation process isn't that difficult. You wash them, you dry them, you put them in a plastic bag or a jar, just smash them, leave them for a week, they turn dark, and that's when they get macerated further and dried out in a paper bag, or you can smash them. I have been experimenting with goldenrod as well. So the last bit of summer, I decided to throw in some turnip seeds in a little pot by the house so I can keep an eye on them, keep them watered. Lots of things have gotten singed from the sun. Sunflowers are doing great. I'm getting some nice seed heads on them. Saving them for next year's flowers, but at the same time I'm looking at them like there's some food in there. And my friend also said that the root itself has some medicinal qualities. So I'll explore that further before recommending it. Today I harvested a bunch of tomatoes. So the skins in my ketchup process, salsa process, I also saved those skins, and I have a dehydrator in this little hoop house going with some skins, and the smaller tomatoes, about that size, I just didn't want to make them into sauce. It seemed like a waste, so I am dehydrating. Tomorrow I'll be putting them in the sun because the sun is hot. So I created this other raised bed for my asparagus that I transplanted from the garden. It was in a big pot, and it may take a couple years to settle in. There is asparagus in the bottom, but I threw in some seeds, and it looks like I've got a winter squash coming. This came from a cutting. Sage, rosemary, really easy to cut. You're out there in the world, you see a nice, strong, hardy bush of sage or rosemary, just grab a branch. You can propagate straight in dirt. Keep it in the shade for a year, and these are good herbs. Beautiful smell. You can dry them for teas. I'm going to try fermenting some sage and spices. There's just medicinal quality in your pot herbs. Keep them close. I let all of my cilantro go to seed. Not only is this seed for next year, but it's also food. The green berries actually are a nice digestive aid. So crushed with other herbs or by itself, worth saving. And the bees and bugs love it. So now we're going to, yeah, look at those guys. They got burnt. But they're still alive. I'm watering them. Basically, I was growing all of these raspberries for tea leaves specifically. The berries are nice, but I want raspberry tea leaf. Okay, let's move on. We haven't done a video in a while. Remains, I know. There's a lot of stuff that just happens. You know, you get a seasonal crop, and then it's just a mess. And this is a hobby. You know, I'm not getting paid for this, but I'm learning, definitely. So, we're going to ride over to the garden, and I'm going to just do a quick walkthrough. And since the last time I've had a video, I did get suggestions. And they are very helpful. They are very helpful in eating up the garden waste. So, you know, organic, no soy, no corn is the recommended feed for chickens. These guys will eat just about anything. So there's some plants that just get bug eaten. Rutabaga tops, the corn that was kind of hard. They'll eat it all, and they're really happy if I go out in the woods and pick them some berries. Okay, let's keep moving. I want to keep this somewhat short. So, the plum tree did great. They were a small yellow Italian plum. There wasn't enough meat to justify processing for chutney, but the sweet and sour sauce has been on my mind. Because canning time is less, 10 minutes, you're putting in vinegar, and those acids are really nice. They take on, you know, it's lightly acidic. It's kind of like a tincture. Anything with vinegar in it, it will take in the medicinal value of the plant matter. Catching my breath. So this is my corn, and this was a lot of corn to deal with all at once. I only harvested this row so far. I picked through some nice ones. Me and Brian ate like we ate a lot of corn last night. I never buy anything with corn, period. I will eat what I grow from heirloom organic seed here with biochar. That's it. So once a year. But this year we're going to have enough. So I'll be making some corn salsa. The potatoes mostly came out. I'd say I have about 30 pounds, and I still have this mound here to dig up. I didn't want to disrupt some of the squash and potatoes that were branching over, but it seems like the squash is just about done. All that foliage just crisp. So I'd say I have probably about 50 pounds. This size is perfect for both of us. Blue Hubbards can get huge, but these guys are great. Any kind of squash, that's your vitamin A. This row is our carrots. I finally got them going. I planted and replanted and replanted and replanted over and over. Now they're great. They're doing great, and I'm being pretty conservative on digging them up. I'm doing some lacto fermentation. They look pretty good. Because come fall, the tops will die back. I can mulch. They can just stay in the ground, and they do get sweeter in the winter months. So they're safe here. I don't have to deal with processing or storage. So these guys look good. I'm happy about that. The chickens love the carrot tops. We did till this row because, like I have said in the past, we added sand 2 years ago, and mixed with the clay it became concrete. So we have to keep tilling We have some cover crop that I started, and we mulched with grass over it. There's some peas, some fava, some alfalfa, and rye. And it's been a really hot July. Now it's August. So it's coming up here and there. But I'm going to keep watering. I'll water tonight. I asked Brian to till around this guy because I love zucchini. And yeah, we're still getting some zucchini, so we saved that guy. So this row got tilled, this row got tilled, the walkway did not, so it's pretty much concrete. I did throw some cover crop all the way down the walkway. I don't know if anything will grow. The purslane has been expanding in the second row after we tilled, and I popped in some more bush beans. I love bush beans. They look pretty good. I threw in the whole row. I planted beets, but it seems like we've only got maybe a dozen. So they'll be very special beets. Borage keeps volunteering, but it does have that deep taproot, so it holds space in the ground. So if it rots back, it's doing its job. And the bees love the blue flowers. These are favas that I just threw in because there was nothing going on. I figure a legume is at least giving some ground cover. This is my burdock. Burdock is doing great. I've learned that these big leaves are good for poultices along with comfrey leaf. So I have dried some. And see, look at the difference. That red line going through the leaf as opposed to a more immature one, no red line. This is an indicator. If I'm going to use this for a poultice, use it now. But I'm not going to do that. I'm going to just let it keep growing here because this will be a food crop and I want it to do well. These are celeries that have gone to seed and I'm letting them go. The bugs love them and I'm holding out for the seed. This is a great spice. I'm really into it. Onions fell down this month, maybe 2 weeks ago. So I'm just going to leave them right there, let them dry out, right where they're at. At some point I'll pull them and lay them out in the sun. I do have some sizables. These are yellow parmas. I did try to grow some walla wallas. They might be mixed in. Not sure. We'll see. The tomato hoop house did great. I've canned about 20 pounds. And we still have tomatoes coming. Peppers. These are the auroras. They are going to change color. Right now they're very hot. I've just added a couple and I'm lacto-fermenting. Here's a green pepper. It's slowly starting to turn red. I've got some green peppers and I'm really stoked about that. This is red flowering amaranth. So this is a grain. It's nice for bouquets. The chickens will eat the seed. I know it spreads, but it's pretty. I can't stop it. Basil has been prolific. I've frozen a lot of pesto. It's nearing the end of its life, and I'm going to collect some seed. We got some more tomatoes. Tomatoes. These are my green peppers. They look great. I'm stoked. Basil. I believe these are a hot pepper. Different variety. I think I planted some jalapeno. I keep a bucket as I'm finding dried things that I want to save quick and dirty. There's some pot of maroon, one pumpkin. I have two. I have 2 sweet pumpkin pies, which is great. It's just us 2. Corn, the sunflowers did great. Fava beans, they grow really easy. The tops are edible. and they're a nitrogen fixer. So they make a lot of seed. I have a lot of seed. I just keep popping them in, and they're pretty. So where there's empty space, and sometimes they're volunteers because things get tilled and they all get mixed up. Here's an example of the borage flower. Some bush beans that I bought from a store because I just, gosh, well darn wanted those bush beans. They're so nice. This is some amaranth that converted back from the red. I did not plant it, but the red I think is a hybrid, although the package said red Hopi dye. Possible that over time it just changed back. Here's more burdock. I love burdock. I just did a batch of lacto-fermented burdock, carrot, onion, and purple peppers with celery seed. And I'm sure it'll be delicious. Some more late planted. This one's ready to go. Yeah, so it all happens, and I have to just prioritize what I want to put up and what I want to eat now. One big zucchini made a huge quiche, and I put as many fresh things in it, and it's an abundant time. I let go on the weeding, and I'm okay with that. This is my biggest Blue Hubbard. It's doing fine. We keep up with the watering. Our cistern has been leaking. We pump water from the pond, which pond water is great for drip watering. It doesn't necessarily touch the leaves. It goes right in the ground. Lots of organisms in there. It's kind of dark water. But so we pump from the pond that we started out our trip. It's way over there. That goes to an underground hose that goes to the house. So we just haul out some hoses to lead to this valve. And then from this valve, we'll run a hose and pour it in the top through that pipe fitting to fill this up halfway. It's been leaking this year, so don't fill it up all the way. We just leave it halfway. And then the drip system, turn that on, and each individual row, I can do like 3 a night, and intermittently just keep watering. I love scarlet runner beans. These guys did great. We wired this up so it wouldn't fall over. The trellis is held up for over 10 years. I just walk through, and when I see a clump that's dried, I'll grab it, throw it in the greenhouse. We were supposed to get rain lots of times. We have not. So we will be drip feeding. Isn't that beautiful? Isn't that Dr. Seussian? So great. I love this sunflower. So I have a couple in the middle. I'm going to save seed from that guy. You can see up in the sky that herringbone waves are electromagnetics pushing the rain clouds away. That's what we see in the Pacific Northwest. So I think I covered it. I did have a lapse of no lettuces, but we ate straight basil salads for the month of July, which is fine. But I did get around to starting some more winter salads. So that's planted here. They should be coming along, and we'll have plenty of salad for the fall. These guys are great. This is a romaine, and I like having every salad is just wonderful. The white juice in the lettuce is a cooling flavor, but also a slight, when you get bitter lettuce like the wild lettuce, let's see if I have a plant here. It is a painkiller. It is. When you see, let's see, where is those plants? They kind of look like a grungy weed. Matthew Wood refers to it as a street person salad. Well, it actually does. I have a couple in the greenhouse. Let's see if there's one in here. Here's an artichoke I bought in the store. I don't know. It'll go in a pot, because we till everything. Let's see if there's one in here. This guy. This guy. This guy. You see this guy? This is wild lettuce. Wild lettuce is bitter, but it's also a painkiller. So this white stuff in there, it's bitter. Get over it. Eat it. If you have inflammation, you're looking for wild lettuce. So it comes here because it knows I have pain. Dandelion greens, bitter. Same quality. Do you see that white stuff? Rid the pain. Alright. There's cabbage butterfly. There. I wanted you to see what the garden looks like in mid-August. And it's kind of scrappy, but I know what's happening. I did it. And there's quite a bit of food. So I hope you find some inspiration with these thoughts. And see you next time. Thank you.